NVIDIA is expected to report earnings a few days from now. Unfortunately, today on Monday, the stock was down roughly 2%. What I want to do in today's episode is just take a closer look at some recent updates impacting NVIDIA, and we do have some pretty cool updates before earnings. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So we can see NVIDIA right now sitting at $126.46. The stock was down roughly 2%, but it does seem like the overall semiconductor market was a bit down today. We can see AMD was down roughly 3%. We can see Intel Corporation was also down roughly 2%. So there wasn't anything really, in my opinion, that NVIDIA investors should be worried about in forms of this price decline. As we get closer to earnings within Wednesday when they report, I believe this volatility is going to continue, and maybe we might continue to hear maybe some more bearish sentiment towards NVIDIA. But from what we've heard from in the past few weeks, in the past few earnings, I think this is going to be a very great earnings report for NVIDIA. I did a video yesterday or Saturday where I took a closer look at what I'm personally looking at in forms of NVIDIA's earnings. There's 17 things. So if you haven't watched that, make sure to check out my previous videos. Now, the first thing I want to take a closer look at for NVIDIA is on August 23rd, we did hear reports that NVIDIA is going to present at Hot Chips conference. For those that are not familiar, Hot Chips is this big conference that happens in the semiconductor market, and it really discusses mainly more the advanced computation, advanced chips, right? So NVIDIA is going to present here, and this conference is a paid conference. I want to say, if you're not really much of a tech guy, these conferences are going to be very boring. They're going to be more educational. They're going to be very, very technical. And if you are an investor, don't feel like you need to listen to these conferences because we're not going to hear any new products. It's more just kind of, again, how the products work and more of a technical landscape. I personally, as you guys know me, come from an engineering background, and I like to increase my education in the technological aspects of AI chips or chips in general. So I did purchase because, again, I enjoyed that educational level for this. But as an investor solely, I don't think this is necessarily a must-have presentation. Here we can see that some of the conferences that I'm following, it is a 3-day event. It was Sunday, Monday, and tomorrow. On Sunday, we had some pretty cool events where they talk about kind of liquid cooling. You had companies like Supermicro and NVIDIA discuss some of the liquid cooling and next generation cooling solutions. Now, Monday, which was today, we did have some pretty cool events as well. This is where we saw a lot of high performance processors and GPUs. We had updates from Snapdragon Qualcomm, from Intel Lunar Lake, and then in forms of GPU and AI accelerators, we did have NVIDIA talk about their Blackwell platform. We had Intel and AMD both talked about their Gaudi 3 and the MI300X. Unfortunately, my little one is sick, so I haven't watched the keynotes yet, but I have gone through the presentations, and again, these are mainly more on the technical side. One that I am pretty curious about, and I'm going to probably discuss a little bit more in future episodes, OpenAI did have kind of a conference where they talk about predictable scaling and infrastructure. And again, OpenAI has been in recent news lately where they want to develop their own AI chip. Maybe we can learn a little bit more about this. So that's one that I'm going to have on my top watch list as I want to learn more. And tomorrow we do have some more other events. It's going to be more, again, on the processor side. Tesla also does discuss tomorrow about their Dojo system. Microsoft talks about the Maya 100. AMD talks about their next generation Zen 5. So I'm going to find and listen to most of the popular discussions in this conference event. But like I mentioned, if you're not more of a technical side or a researcher or anybody who's learning about the engineering side, this Hot Chip conference is not necessarily strong for investors. So definitely don't go running out there and buying this because I believe it's a few $100s. Before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe if you want to learn more about the semiconductor market. I do have very insightful ebooks for sale at moresemiinvesting.com. I have a free newsletter found in the pinned comment. Finally, a special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now, the next information that I have here is this pretty cool screenshot of data center AI chip roadmap that is found on X. I'm gonna leave the user here real quick so you guys can check out this roadmap. But here we can see why NVIDIA is gonna continue to dominate here in the AI market. We can see all these other companies, even AMD, who is its biggest competitor, is only really releasing a few chips within the next few years, where NVIDIA is gonna be releasing multiple chips just on its next generation, the Blackwell, right? So the Blackwell 200 is expected to start shipping sometime in Q4 of 2024. Then we have the Grace Blackwell, which is expected to Q1 of 2025. You have the B200A, the B200 Ultra, the B20, the GB200 Ultra, the GB200A, followed by the Rubin platform. And we can see the huge growth of NVIDIA's products. AMD is now shipping the MI300, and their next generation is the MI325X, which is expected to ship out in Q4 of 2024, if I am reading this correctly. Other players in this space are Intel. Intel's Gaudi 3 is expected to come out in Q3 of 2024. Again, Gaudi 3, I don't think it's going to be much of a big force compared to what NVIDIA is releasing, but it does showcase that Intel is kind of moving forward. Then they have the Falcon Shores, which is expected to be released later in the second half of 2025. Now, we also have obviously big tech developing their own chips. We can see ByteDance, Meta, and Google are all being developed by Broadcom. We also have Amazon that's being developed by AI Chip, and we have Microsoft that's being developed by Marvell. So very interesting that even big tech has a nice roadmap. But again, even this roadmap by any of these players, just by looking at NVIDIA, right, it showcases why NVIDIA investors should not be worried. Sure, investors might see this and say, hey, look, huge competition coming from the other players. But I mean, when you have the B200 being released soon, and eventually being by the B200 Ultra, which is going to be a better performant version of it, followed by the Rubin 200, and the list goes on and on. As an NVIDIA investor, the data center GPU market and AI accelerator is not one that I personally would be worried about. Some other updates we have here for NVIDIA. NVIDIA did mention that they launched a new array of CUDA libraries to expand accelerated computing and delivering orders of magnitude speed up to science and industrial applications. And this is the great thing about NVIDIA, right? Their software solution, CUDA. CUDA has various libraries to expand the acceleration of multiple workloads that are usually only good for CPU performance. And this is the strength, right? There's obviously other GPUs out there, but you can't just accelerate a CPU product or a CPU optimized software. You need to have libraries to be able to kind of improve that acceleration via a GPU. And that's where NVIDIA has a huge lead, where they have multiple libraries to be able to do that and kind of accelerate those applications. Outside of that, NVIDIA did announce today that they launched a NIM microservice for generative AI in Japan and Taiwan. They announced 4 new microservices which help accelerate deployment of sovereign AI applications that offer advanced cultural and language fluency. So again, NVIDIA has mentioned that one of their biggest growth opportunities right now is sovereign AI, as nations continue to invest in AI markets and AI solutions. This is obviously going to help accelerate their productivity. And here we can see some big players are like Japan, like Taiwan, that continue to invest in this space. So this is something that I'm definitely going to be excited to hear about during the upcoming earnings. But we heard nation worldwide from companies in Singapore, United Arab, South Korea, Sweden, France, Italy, and India are investing in sovereign AI infrastructure, and obviously the United States, right? Because AI is definitely going to help with things like national defense and security. So obviously this is what you want to keep hearing about: more nations developing developing and growing their AI solutions. All right, so next we do have a few quick snip news updates, and maybe this one that I'm going to read right now, I'm going to break down in another episode and maybe look a little bit more into the fundamentals of this business. We do see an analyst says that Nvidia earnings should give a lift to broader tech sectors and the AI trade. His picks are Broadcom. As we know, Broadcom is definitely helping a lot of companies in custom AI accelerator solutions. ServiceNow, which is a player that has mentioned that they are definitely seeing revenue growth thanks to AI. Digital Realty Trust, which is a REIT that focuses on data center solutions, and obviously data centers are focusing a lot in the and seeing probably a huge demand growth thanks to AI demand. And the final one is Vertiv Holdings, which is a player in the power supply market right now, in the infrastructure power. So these are 4 picks. I'm probably gonna break them down in another episode and just give my overall thoughts and valuations. Let me know if that's a video you would want to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick episode and you guys learned a little bit more about Nvidia and the company. I will be doing earnings live stream on Wednesday, so make sure to check it out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Peace out and see you all next time.